Well, we've done the 80s. And now we're going to tell you the movies that we liked and thought was the best movie at the time when we saw them in the 90s. But over time, we may have changed our mind of what we think is the best movie that year. So let's do the 90s. Starting with 1990, Mark. What was your favorite movie back then? Now, how old were you at the time?
In 1990?
1990.
I was probably around 12 or 13 at that time, right?
Well, I was
born in 76. I'm not going to do the math right now.
14. 14, Mark.
14? 14?
Yeah, I was around 17-ish, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was 26 at the time.
Okay.
Sorry, 28. Sorry, 28.
Yeah, alright. So, back then, I think Total Recall, when it came out, I thought that was epic. Like the first Total Recall. And then, looking back, Pretty Woman is probably... I've probably watched that more.
Pretty Woman? Pretty Woman was 1990?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I had Total Recall on my list too.
Then why are you confused?
Because we did the 80s afterwards. We weren't going to do them before.
Oh.
So, I don't know. I got messed up.
You're ridiculous. Okay.
Now, when I look back, Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I got two of your each movies. My original one was Pretty Woman. Richard Gere. Surprising how many Richard Gere movies I have on my list. He's not one of my favorite actors, but I have a couple on my list so far.
Okay.
And of course, Red October. Probably the best Sean Connery movie that I like, and I watch it all the time. I almost watched it again last night, and then I found one more to watch instead. So, like, that's literally when I'm searching through Netflix, I see Hunt for Red October. I go,
Mm-hmm.
every time.
Okay.
Okay, 1991, Mark.
Terminator 2, full stop.
Even now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Back then, for me, it was Hot Shots. Because that was hilarious.
Funny. It was funny.
And now it's Terminator 2.
Consensus. Terminator 2, full stop.
Yeah.
Even now. I don't go back and watch any other movie that I can think of more than I've watched Terminator 2.
Okay.
1992.
For me, The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a...
You didn't even like sports.
No, but I liked the movie. I liked the camaraderie.
Okay.
You like the Flying V.
And the Flying V, yeah. But looking back, I'd say My Cousin Vinny takes that spot. I like that
Excellent movie.
Okay. For me, it was Aladdin, and is still Aladdin.
Okay. For me, back then it was Basic Instinct. You know this for a fact.
You loved this.
Because I even wrote my own screenplay after that, and I called the character Sharon Stone in it. I guess she might have been my first real Hollywood crush at the time. Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. Now I'd say Aladdin, and really, really close second is My Cousin Vinny. Absolutely. But Aladdin still is so enjoyable.
My Cousin Vinny was okay to me, but it didn't blow me away like it blew you guys away.
It's such a lighthearted, fun comedy.
Yeah, it was good.
I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
1993.
Back then, probably missed Doubtfire, watching that for the first time. But I mean, you got to go back to Jurassic Park. The first Jurassic Park is still epic when you watch it.
Yeah. So back then and now, I have Jurassic Park.
Yeah, okay.
I have Jurassic Park back then, but over time, I have Demolition Man.
What?
Really?
Sly Stallone, I'm telling you, those were my guys back then, right? And the very first appearance of Sandra Bullock in a movie, and it was just the whole with Wesley Snipes and everything. I still go back and laugh my head off at that movie. It's just a fun movie when he's swearing into the things so he can go to the washroom. All that stuff still hits and resonates today because it's almost like the way society is now.
Okay.
And that brings me back.
All right. 1994.
I've got, back then it was Speed. Loved that movie. And looking back, Dumb and Dumber. In fact, one of the best jokes I've ever told is I was driving and I was merging onto the Queensway. This was years back. And there was a bus coming up behind me and I rolled down the window as I was merging and I was like, keep it above 50! And I lost it for like 3 days. I was laughing for like 3 days.
Meanwhile, the driver's terrorized on the bus. People are jumping out in the middle of the road.
It was awesome.
You're alone in your car. The bus driver couldn't even hear you. You're just laughing.
But I was laughing.
Okay, I got back then Dumb and Dumber, obviously. But it was also tied with The Lion King. And today it's still the same.
Okay.
See, for me, I love Dumb and Dumber, but I was completely drawn into The Lion King. Lion King is still my favorite animated movie of all time. And it still is today.
We should do a video on that because that would be a tough one. Favorite animation?
By
movies?
far. Yeah. So the whole, when he says, when he starts running back to the kingdom and the guys, go for it, and just the music and the legs running with the African background and the like inspiring music for an animated film. It was so good.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack was epic.
Like, amazing.
Okay, 95.
For me, then, Braveheart, and it's still Braveheart.
For me then, Braveheart, and it's still Braveheart.
Consensus, Braveheart, full stop.
All right.
No doubt.
Cool.
1996.
I've got, back then, Star Trek First Contact. It was the first Next Generation Star Trek movie, and you guys know how big into Star Trek I was.
Yeah, you were a fanboy.
Right? Yeah. So, back then, that was it. But looking back, and this is probably a really unpopular opinion, Phenomenon. With John Travolta.
Probably very unpopular.
I can't even think of what that movie is in my head.
He has a brain
gets a
tumor and he gets smart.
But gets extremely smart.
Till he dies.
Right? And so, and everybody's wondering, like, because he thinks he saw some kind of an alien, and people are thinking, what's wrong with you? And he saw this light, but it was just a brain tumor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back then, for me, it was Jerry Maguire, and now it's The Rock. Because, and I'll tell you why it's The Rock now, is because somebody said, what if The Rock is an unofficial James Bond movie? Where Sean Connery is an old James Bond and he's on this mission. Kind of
Right.
thing. And I said, holy smokes, that makes sense. And now
So
I
you
like
just...
it.
You and your conspiracy theories. For me, it was Independence Day. Back then. Big action blockbuster, aliens. Yeah, nothing to Will Smith.
Blowing up the White House.
Yeah. Like, back when Independence Day was good. Then, of course, over time, Jerry Maguire. Tom Cruise, sports movie, Cuba Gooding Jr., Show Me the Money. Yeah, just everything about that movie.
You had me at hello.
Yeah, there. That's the line he remembers.
1997.
I've got, then, Con Air. But looking back, Men in Black. Like the original Men in Black.
Okay. I wasn't big on Con Air. Like, maybe because it was just Nicolas Cage. I could never really get
That's
into
probably,
Nicolas
for me,
And his
that's
accent.
his best movie.
Cage. Yeah, better than Face Off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, second best. I think.
Face Off, I would say, is second best.
Better than the Massive Talent one we just watched.
I've not
The
seen it.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds, I think, is his best movie.
Okay. 1997, no doubt, was The Fifth Element, and is still The Fifth Element today.
Okay.
I did, but you know me, I'm an animation guy. It's Hercules all the way for me. Still full stop.
And that's not even one of their Disney's top animations.
No, but the portrayal of
Hades?
so good. So good.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they knew how to cast. You can say whatever you want about Disney. They knew who to cast in some roles back then.
In the past.
In the past. No, well, even if you look at the Marvel characters up until Endgame. Everybody fit.
Endgame was in the past.
But I mean, not that long in the past. They're still considered modern Marvel movies.
Everything fell apart at Endgame.
Yeah.
1998.
Then, Something About Mary. But I'm going to say that I've gone back to watch The Truman Show more.
Okay. For me back then, it was Something About Mary. That was just, well, first of all, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Second of all, Ben Stiller was erupting on the scene. I just thought he was amazing. And now, Mulan.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
This is the one time it's not, the animation didn't win out for me, but something about Mary to start. But now I've really gone back and watched Rounders an awful lot.
The card?
The card game.
Okay.
Is that Matt Damon?
Matt Damon and,
I watched it not long ago.
why am I thinking, I can't think of his name. Ed Norton.
Wow.
Like two great actors.
You enjoy that movie more than movie?
I've gone back and watched it many times. Mulan I might watch once every few years.
Oh, I'm not saying that I watch my current favorite movies
All the time.
No, but I definitely, like, I enjoy Rounders every time I watch it.
Okay. Last year, 1999.
For me, at the time, American Pie.
Great movie.
Thought it was hilarious. Now, looking back, The Matrix.
Okay.
Right? Because I have a better understanding of what The Matrix was. When I first watched The Matrix, it was hard to follow. Because we didn't have that mindset of, like, computerized world. And then as you watch it more and more times, you're like, I get it.
Okay. Yeah, American Pie was epic, but Matrix was too epic to not put first, and then today it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the special effects that they included in the Matrix.
Yeah. We had never seen before.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the visual, the fashion visual that they had really caught on.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's for high school shooters.
Yeah.
But
But it caught on.
that became a thing, right?
Yeah.
It was just so influential.
Yeah.
I have The Matrix for back then. And I was thinking of American Pie, but if I have to be honest now, the one that I really enjoyed the most was the Thomas Crown Affair. Back then.
Don't even know what that is.
It's an art thief type of movie, starring James Bond.
It's starring James Bond.
What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan?
Okay.
It's my favorite movie by him, and it's like he's a billionaire who steals art for fun to get away with it, and they know it's him, but then they're trying to prove it's him, and there are some great characters in that story, and it's fun to watch, and it's definitely an adult fun movie.
And you enjoy that more than Matrix or American Pie.
Right now, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. The 90s were those movies as good as the 80s movies?
Some of them were.
I don't know,
Some of them were, but I mean, now we're starting to
Are we? Did you feel a descent?
a bit of a descent.
The Matrix was a descent.
Listen, look at some of those 80s movies. Incredible movies, incredible concepts. Now, yes, there were a couple of still good, really good, incredible concepts in the 90s. Not as many. Not as many.
Well, okay.
We have a lot of the same.
Braveheart, Dumb and Dumber, Jurassic Park, Aladdin, Hot Shots,
Yeah,
Total Recall, The Matrix.
I'm not saying in the entire 10-year span there wasn't some good stuff. There was some good stuff.
But the choices of other movies were slimmer.
You think so?
I think so.
I think a lot of people would say the 90s were the peak Hollywood era. Well, unless you go back to the classics.
I don't know. I had a harder time in the 80s than the 90s.
Okay.
But it's about to get easier.
We are going to do 2000 in the next video.
And we'll go right up to present day in that one. So 2020. No, 2000 to 2010.
Yeah.
So forget what I just said. like it's great, but I mean, but